Hey everyone and welcome. Ever wanted to bring your stories or tabletop games to life with perfectly timed sound effects triggered by your voice? Today we're diving into the Storyteller tool, a fantastic way to manage and play sounds exactly when you need them. So what is Storyteller? It's a tool that lets you organize sound effects, which we call pages, into different chapters. Then, based on words you speak, Storyteller can automatically play the right sound. Your setup is automatically saved right here in your browser, so you can pick up where you left off. Just a quick note, while it might work in other browsers, Google Chrome usually gives the best voice recognition results with this tool. Want a quick start? There's a sample book file you can download from the guidebook section. You can load it using the Load Book File option here under Manage Book. All right, let's break down the main ideas. Think of a page as a single sound effect or audio clip. It could be an arrow whoosh, a door opening, background music, anything. Each page has a title and, crucially, trigger words or phrases. Chapters. Chapters are like folders for organizing your pages. Maybe you have a forest chapter, a tavern chapter, a combat chapter. When a chapter is active, only the pages in that chapter, or special starred pages, will listen for their trigger words. You'll see your chapters as tabs right here. There's always one special chapter called Index. It shows all the pages in your entire collection, acting like a master list. What if you want different sounds for the same idea, like a daytime forest sound and a nighttime forest sound? That's where variations come in. A single page can have multiple sound source variations, different audio files, or even YouTube clips. Time of day and chapter variations, you can get really specific. A variation can be set to play only during the day, only at night, or always. It can also be assigned to specific chapters. When you trigger a page, Storyteller cleverly picks the best variation based on the currently active chapter and the current time of day, which you can set. If no specific variation fits, it looks for a general one. Page time settings. You can also set a whole page to be day only or night only. If a page is set to day only, it simply won't trigger at night, even if you say the keywords. You'll see these pages grayed out when they're not active due to time. Don't worry, you can always click the play button manually. Now, how do we make it listen? See this microphone button? Click it to start listening. Click it again to stop. You can also use the space bar. Check the settings menu later to see if it's set to toggle on, off, or push to talk. When it's listening, the icon changes and the status updates. Let's trigger a sound. For a page to play automatically, Storyteller needs to hear its trigger words. You'll add keywords or exact phrases when you create or edit a page. You can add primary keys. If a page has these, Storyteller must hear one of them first before it even considers the other keywords or phrases. It adds a layer of certainty. For example, for an arrow hit sound, the primary key might be arrow, and keywords could be hits, flesh, body. You'd need to say arrow and one of the other keywords. If no primary key is set, it just listens for the regular keywords or phrases. When Storyteller hears the right words for an active page and the time of day matches, it finds the best sound variation and plays it. Okay, let's talk about building your sound library. Use the Add New Page button, the one with the pen icon. You'll give it a title, upload an audio file, or link a YouTube clip, set its volume, decide if it loops, and add its trigger keywords or phrases. You also set its time of day restriction here. Click the little pencil icon on any page in the list to change its title, triggers, volume, looping, time settings, or add more sound variations. Adding chapters. Use the Add Chapter button, the folder with a plus. Give it a name. Click the pencil icon on a chapter tab to rename it. Add chapter keywords. Used for voice transitions, more on that soon. or set up sounds that play automatically when entering or leaving the chapter. Simply drag a page from the list and drop it onto the chapter tab you want to add it to. Easy. To remove a page from just the current chapter, but keep it in your book, click the little open book icon on the page item. To delete it permanently from everywhere, click the trash can icon. Be careful with that one. Want more control? Storyteller has some cool advanced options. See the star icon next to pages and on chapter tabs? A starred page can be triggered by its keywords no matter which chapter is active. Super useful for common sounds. A starred chapter makes all pages inside it behave like starred pages, globally triggerable. They still respect their individual time of day settings, though. Time of day control. Click the sun-moon button up here to manually switch between day and night. This affects which page variations play and which pages can be triggered based on their settings. You can also set up specific voice phrases in settings to trigger the time change, like the sun sets. Chapter transitions. You can move between chapters using your voice. Set chapter keywords when editing a chapter, like forest or tavern. Then say a transition phrase like enter the forest or walk into the tavern. Storyteller will switch to that chapter. You can even set specific sounds to autoplay when you enter a chapter this way. Similarly, you can set up exit phrases like leave the tavern. This can trigger specific leave sounds and then transition you to another chapter, often back to the index master list. Check the edit chapter options for this. Good news. Storyteller automatically saves everything in your browser's local storage. But you can also manually save your entire book to a file or load a book from a file using these options. This is great for backups or sharing. You can also import and export individual chapters. And for the power users, check out the keyboard shortcuts section in the guidebook. Let's explore how you can customize Storyteller and find help using the settings and guidebook sections. First, the settings, which you can access by clicking the gear icon. This is where you fine-tune how Storyteller behaves. Listening mode. This controls how the spacebar activates listening. Toggle means you press spacebar once to start listening and again to stop. Push to talk means you have to hold the spacebar down to listen. Smart filtering. This changes how Storyteller matches your spoken words to trigger sounds. When enabled, it uses keywords. It looks for specific keywords you've defined for a page, allowing for some flexibility in phrasing, fuzzy matching. It usually needs a primary key plus one keyword or two keywords if no primary key is set. When disabled, it uses phrase matching, requiring you to say the exact phrases you've listed for a page, after matching the primary key, if any. Compound phrasing. If you turn this on, you can trigger multiple sounds sequentially from a single sentence, often by using the word and. For example, saying, the door opens and wind howls could trigger both the door opening page and the wind howling page one after the other. Minimum confidence. When using smart filtering, keywords, this slider adjusts how closely your spoken words need to match the keywords. A higher setting means a stricter match is required. The default is usually a good balance. Audio handling on chapter change. This determines what happens to sounds currently playing when you switch chapters. You can choose to stop all sounds. Stop only sounds that were started automatically, like chapter entry sounds, or use Smart Continue, which tries to keep sounds playing if they are starred or exist in both the old and new chapter, potentially switching variations. There's also an option to always keep sounds when moving to the index chapter. Autoplay on chapter tab. Click. This setting controls if clicking a chapter tab automatically plays that chapter's autoplay pages. You can set it to always autoplay, only autoplay if you're currently listening, or never autoplay on click. Voice transitions always trigger autoplay if set for the chapter. Custom phrases. You'll also find fields to enter your own custom phrases. Stop phrases are words that, when heard, will immediately stop all playing sounds, just like pressing Ctrl plus Q. You can also add custom enter phrases, like teleport to, and exit phrases, like run from, for triggering chapter transitions with your voice. Finally, you can define specific phrases to trigger the switch to daytime or nighttime, like the sun rises or night falls. Remember to hit Save Settings after making changes. Now let's talk about the guidebook, accessed via the question mark icon. This is your built-in manual and reference for everything Storyteller. Inside the guidebook, you'll find detailed explanations of all the core concepts. It explains the listening and triggering process in depth, including how primary keys work and the logic behind smart filtering, keyword matching, and phrase matching. If you're curious about exactly how Storyteller decides which page to play when multiple keywords match, the details are in here. So whenever you're unsure about a feature or want a deeper dive into how Storyteller works, the guidebook is the place to go. So that's the basics of using Storyteller. It's a really powerful tool once you start building out your chapters and pages. Play around with the settings, try adding variations, and see how it can enhance your storytelling or gaming sessions. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments how you're using Storyteller. Happy gaming!